The silence in the mansion was louder than any argument you would ever have. It had been 7 long hours since the kitchen confrontation. 7 hours of walking on eggshells, pacing in your room, trying to reply every word you said, every emotion that leaked out of you. And Jungkook, he didn't say a single word to you since he walked out of the kitchen. Not even a glance, no smokes, no teasing, eat something you brat, comments, just nothing. You stood in front of his room, your fist raised but still hesitant to knock. Finally, you sighed and whispered, "Here goes nothing," before tapping the wooden door softly. No answer. You knocked a little louder. "Father, are you asleep?" Still no answer. You frowned, resting your head against the door. "Father, please open the door. Just yell at me, scold me, tell me I'm an idiot. Anything, but don't go silent like this, please." And finally, the door clicked open. He stood there, expressions unreadable, hair misty from running his hand through it too many times. His eyes didn't meet yours. He turned around and walked inside, sitting on the edge of the bed. You followed quietly, your feet dragging behind you like a guilty child. The air between you both was stiff, like a thread stretched too thin, about to snap. You sat cross-legged on the rug before him. "I'm sorry," you whispered, fiddling with your sleeves. "I didn't mean to accuse you of anything. I was angry, and I was scared. I lost my mom. I was grasping at anything that made sense. I didn't want to believe it was just an accident or natural. I needed someone to blame." Jungkook didn't say a word, just stared at the floor, jaw clenched. "I never thought you actually did it." You mumbled, I found the note on her old phone. It sounded like she was scared. And I panicked. I trusted Sam, and I shouldn't have gone behind your back." He finally looked up at you, eyes soft but heavy with hurt. "I treated you like my own daughter. I gave you time, space, everything I could to make you feel safe here. I never forced you to call me father, never told you to love me. But you did. You trusted me. And now I find out you were investigating me like I was some monster under your bed." You winced. "I know, and I hate myself for it. I have been walking around with this girl for months. Every time you smiled at me, I felt like I don't deserve it." He scoffed lightly. "Well, at least we agree on something." "Okay, ouch." You pouted dramatically. "That one hurts. Can we go back to you yelling at me? This passive aggressive thing is harder to deal with." Still no laugh. He just shook his head. "Father," you crawled up onto the bed beside him, leaning your head against his shoulder. "I'm really, really sorry. I know I messed up, but this, you ignoring me for hours like this, it's pure torture." He didn't respond, so you sighed. "If this silence continues any longer, I'm going to have to pull out the big guns." Jungkook raised an eyebrow. "What?" You suddenly sat up and dramatically cleared your throat. "Do you want to build a snowman?" You started singing in the most off-key, exaggerated voice possible, complete with an awful British accent, or ride our bike around the hall. That did it. A soft chuckle escaped his lips, and soon it became a full-on laugh. You giggled with him, covering your face in embarrassment. "You are so dumb," he muttered, wiping a tear from the corner of his eye from laughing. "A tone-deaf snowman serenade? Really? I had to try something." You defended. "Do you know how hard it is to live in the same house with someone who won't even look at you?"
He looked at you for a long moment, then sighed. I'm still not happy. You nodded slowly, reaching for his hand. I know, but can we work through it? I never wanted to hurt you. I never stopped seeing you as my father. Not even for a second. My grief made me stupid. Jungkook gave your hand a small squeeze. You better not doubt me again. I have lost too many people already. If I ever lose you too, you won't, you whispered, scooting closer. I promise. There was a brief silence before he suddenly pulled you into a tight hug, resting his chin on top of your head. I forgive you, but you're still banned from watching crime documentaries for a month. You laughed. Fair. After a few moments, he ruffled your hair and you both stood up. Well, go to bed now, troublemaker, he said softly. It's late. You too, and don't sneak into the kitchen to make ramen at midnight. No promises. You smiled, both heading to your respective rooms. But this time there was peace, and the air felt whole again. The luxurious rooftop restaurant of the hotel shimmered with golden lights, casting a soft glow over the tables lined with crystal glasses and plates of gourmet food. The soft melody of a piano played in the background, blending into the hum of clinking silverware and low murmurs of conversations. Jungkook sat at a private table near the glass railing that overlooked the skyline, his tailored black suit pristine and his jaw clenched tightly. A glass of untouched wine sat before him. While his business partner and also his close friend Mr. Han casually scrolled through his phone beside him. But Jungkook wasn't listening to a single word Mr. Han had been saying for the past 10 minutes. His eyes were fixated on a young couple seated at a table a few feet away, laughing, smiling, their hands brushing their eyes locked like no one else in the world mattered. The woman was feeding him a bite of dessert, and the man took it with a grin, leaning forward to steal a kiss. It was soft, intimate, simple. Jungkook's jaw tightened more. You okay, Mr. Jung? Han asked, finally noticing his silence. Jungkook snapped out of it, slightly looking away from the couple as if caught in something forbidden. He gave a half-hearted nod. Yeah, just tired. But he wasn't. He was exhausted, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. From years of hiding who he really was, from years of bottling emotions and controlling urges. From years of watching you smile at him and call him father while he buried the hunger in his eyes. Han chuckled, taking another sip of wine. You keep watching that couple like you envy their youth. Jungkook's lips twitched. I envy something alright. His voice was low, almost a whisper to himself. Han didn't catch it, but Jungkook wasn't talking to him anymore. He tilted his head back against the velvet chair. Eyes still drifting towards the couple. They looked like how he used to dream, before he let the title of his stepfather chain him, before he let guilt stop him from touching what he wanted. You with that soft smile you always gave him. You with your soft, sweet voice, always calling him father like it was the only identity he had in your world. I'm not your father, Jungkook mumbled to himself. Never have been. Han's phone rang and he stepped away to take the call. Jungkook finally found silence, and in that silence, his thoughts roared like a storm. She still calls me that, father, he whispered bitterly to himself, gripping the stem of the wine glass. How much longer do I pretend to be the man who raised her? I didn't raise her. I wanted her the moment I saw her. The moment she stepped into my house, she smiled at me like a daughter, and I wanted her like a man. He closed his eyes, a slow exhale. leaving his chest. His knuckles were white now. She doesn't know what she does to me. Every damn time she hugs me, calls me father with that soft voice, I want to grab her, tell her the truth, that I am not some noble guardian, that I am a man who's been dying to touch her, dying to hear her moan my name, not father. But Jungkook, he looked back at the couple now leaning into each other, laughing about something no one else could hear. They don't hide their love, he muttered. They don't drown in guilt. They just left. Why can't I have that? He swallowed thickly, a bitter taste rising in his throat. Memories of you flooded in, how you would laugh when he teased you, how you would rest your head on his shoulder on late drives, how you bought him cake on his birthdays and left little notes that said, I love you, father. You meant it innocently. He took it like a poison. I am not your father, he hissed under his breath, his voice breaking. I am just a man who has been hiding behind the only title that let me stay close to you. His finger loosened from the wine glass and he leaned forward, his elbows resting on the table as he buried his face in his palms. What the hell am I doing? He sat there, face in his hands, his shoulders trembling, but not from weakness, from the unbearable act of watching you love him in all the wrong ways. Han returned, sitting down with a shrug. Sorry, that was my wife. Jungkook didn't respond. He looked up slowly, his eyes a little red but now colder, determined. Han, he said, his voice was low. Ever wanted something so badly but the world tells you you are not allowed to have it? Han blinked. Of course. Why? Jungkook gave a slow smile, one that didn't reach his eyes. Because I think I'm done obeying the world. He stood from the table, slipping his coat on as the wind stirred his hair gently. Where are you going? Han asked. Jungkook looked back at the couple one last time, then stared far into the city where he knew you were. To stop being her father. His voice was deadly calm and start being the man she really belongs to. And with that, he walked away from the table, from the lie he lived, because today Jungkook had decided he would reveal everything, even if it cost him your love, even if it ruined everything, because he couldn't bear being your father 1 second longer.